Hi everyone, welcome to another video. I've got something a bit different today. We're indoors as you can see, and I've got a Tello drone which you may have seen before. Basically, it's more of an indoor drone. You can fly it outside, but it's best indoors really. Right, so I'm going to turn it on. Hopefully it'll come up on my screen, but basically it's a drone that can record in 720p, so it's not a very brilliant camera on it. Let's see if it picks back up. It may do, it may not. I expect I need to maybe switch Wi-Fi again. It's a Wi-Fi drone, so it connects to your phone rather than to your controller. You don't actually need a controller with this. Right, confirm that. Yeah, you don't need a controller with this. Basically, it doesn't have an SD card. It does have optical flow sensors, so it's quite stable. Right, yeah, that's picked it up. Basically, I want to go into the settings, just turn on my controller. Let's see if I can get this controller to come on. So I actually want to use it. Hang on, here we go. Yeah, that's done it. Right, so I want to connect it. Right, okay. I want to go back out. Go back out into the main menu. Yeah, but basically, yeah, it's a cool little drone. The only thing is it keeps disconnecting itself. Let's have a quick look at it on the camera. You can see there's optical flow sensors and stuff underneath. It's a very little miniature drone. It's quite cool. Records directly to your phone, so it streams to your phone rather than, right, which we're going to do now, turn on the recording. Yeah, so it streams to your phone in 720p. So it depends on your network connection, that sort of thing. You have to be sort of careful with it. It does hold its position quite well, as you can see. It will sort of move around a little bit. To be a bit careful. One thing is when you stood around it, you kind of get a bit confused where it is in relation to you. It's got some really cool little features. So like if I bring it forward, bring it down so you can see it. You've got some cool features in here like 8D flips, which does that, as you can see, sort of scares you a bit. Should be able to go the other way, go back and forward. So hang on, I'm going to go back that way, yeah. Basically, hang on. Whoop. One thing is you have to be very sort of careful, because if you go, it will go a bit fast. If you're not careful, you'll sort of you've got to kind of do it carefully. I picked up a Games 1TD controller for it. I think it's a 1TD or TD1, something like that. I'll put stuff in the description below. But basically, yeah, this controller makes it much easier to control. You can control it with just your phone, and it works with Android and iOS. But I also picked up this little case for it. But it's just a fun drone for basically playing with indoors. So it's got a few little cool features. That flip that I showed you. I won't try all of them because that's a 360. Because we don't really want to we don't want to do anything where it hits things too much. We'll take it for a little bit of a walk around the house and around the downstairs here and fly around just to show you how sort of capable it is. But it's quite a good little drone really. Right, so I think we'll come out of that mode now and see if we can fly it forward. But yeah, the controller does make a big difference. I'd say it's a lot. So we're going to go into the front room. You'll see it on the screen. The camera's not the best, but it's mainly for a bit of fun indoors really. It's not for sort of serious. It's not a Mavic Mini or anything like that. I mean, the Mavic Mini should be able to fly indoors. I've not tried it, but I expect it could. But yeah, this drone sort of shows you that it's not, you have to be a bit careful, so please excuse the mess of the house. Some of the house is still sort of being renovated a bit. But yeah, basically you can fly around. It has got quite a short battery life, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of a fly around before we have to stop. So it probably won't be as long a video, I think, as a normal drone, like an outdoor drone. This does fly outdoors, but it will yes, if I take it in there, so you can kind of, it's got a reasonable range within the house. You can fly it outdoors, but you kind of want a very nice summer's day. You don't want a day, like in the winter and it's windy, that kind of thing, raining, that sort of time won't be very good. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The downsides of the camera, but you're going to struggle to get a better indoor drone. You can pick up the batteries quite cheap for it. They're now sort of, a few years old, so you can pick them up quite cheaply on eBay for about sort of, I got this for £60, and it was refurbed apparently by DJI. It uses DJI technology in it, and I think you can do programming with it and that kind of stuff, so it's quite cool for kids. So it's a good drone for kids, basically. But it's the only drone that I've ever had that I've flown indoors that hasn't just gone straight into the wall as soon as you've tried to do it. But this, see, it's quite fast. If you, it's got to be, I think after a while you get used to it and you kind of fly it a bit faster. Whoa, gotta be careful of the wall there. But it's flying around, no problems. Ooh, nearly went into the camera. But it's not a drone that if you hit the wall or anything, it's going to do much damage. So it's a pretty good drone, for that sort of thing. So, it's a cool drone for playing around in the house. So, and I reckon if you get better at it, whoop, there we go. So yeah, it is easy to get carried away and basically go crazy. Yeah, so the propellers tend to just come off. I haven't had one break yet. I got a few propellers with it. Right, okay. So let's see. I think it stopped recording because it hit, basically. So, yeah. So I got some sets of recorders with it. Propellers with it. Yeah, I think the only downside is that it doesn't have an SD card slot. It could have done with 1080p footage in the camera rather than 720. So there's a few little issues, but you've got to remember it's a few years old now, and whoop, hang on, so it's bounced off the door. But yeah, basically it's a good drone. It's good. It's the only drone I think you're going to find nowadays. You see drones on sort of Amazon for about sort of £30, don't you? And I just don't think any of those will compare to this. They will be toy drones, but this is kind of it's like a Rolls Royce of toy drones, really. And that's the important thing. It's just such a cool device. So, this is what you want, isn't it? If you're going to fly indoors, this is the drone you want to go for. And, the footage isn't terrible. It's not great. Whoop, yep. And it's quite, it's quite sort of, it's quite robust. And with the control, I definitely recommend getting the controller. You can control it with the phone, but I would say definitely get the controller because, right, hang on. Oh, it hasn't stopped recording on that. That's interesting. So it stopped recording last time. This time it didn't. So I hope I haven't lost footage from earlier. But yeah, I don't know if network connection can be a bit of an issue. I think it's had some updates now where, because I think when they first came out, a lot of people complained about the footage, saying that it didn't, it had a lot of, the lights just turned itself off in there. It does at 10 o'clock automatically. I'll try and turn it back on. Oh, hang on. Right, yeah. Apologies for that. But yeah, basically the light is set to go off on a timer. But anyway, yeah, basically, yeah, there's been a lot of fixes to this drone, so I think it's better than it was. When it first came out, I think there was a lot of issues with the network, and it's dropping frames and stuff, and not being very good basically all round. But I think it's been kind of tightened up a bit since it first came out, so it's probably a better drone now that it's basically a bit older. I think they've just released not long ago Tello Edu, but from what I can tell there wasn't a lot of benefit to getting that one over the original Tello. There's no difference in the camera, I don't think. It's not really worth going for. Batteries can be picked up cheaply. It's cool basically. It's a very cool little drone, great for flying indoors. Ooh, I think we're gonna hit, oh, I was close. Nearly hit the curtains there. But yeah, basically, cool little drone, just thought I'd show you. But if you're thinking of getting something for like inside the house, then this is what you need to look at, I think. There'll be other drones that sort of claim to be good for indoors and what have you, but really, this is the most stable, the most easy to control drone I'd say that you can get indoors at the moment. Well, the one that you can find easily, because I think they had a bit of a popularity time, which was like, what do you call it, like a few years ago, and I think now it's harder to find indoor drones now. I don't really see as many of them on the market, so the Tello is sort of a really good buy for an indoor drone. And I think there were other drones around at the time of the Tello, but they're a lot harder to kind of get hold of now. So the Tello is kind of the one that's the most supported of those drones. So I would stick with the Tello. Whoop, hang on, what happened there? Hang on, it's still going, still going, yeah. So I think the Tello is just the most well supported. So there's custom apps for it. There's all sorts of stuff. So basically, if you're going to get anything, I'd recommend a Tello. I mean, it's decent enough out of the box, but I'd say that if you're going to get something, get a Tello. Don't be tempted by some of the sort of cheaper toy drones on Amazon, because they just won't have the optical flow sensors. They won't be up to the same level as a Tello, basically. The Tello is basically the gold standard in indoor drones. So and it can fly a bit outdoors as well. So I mean, the weather that we've got at the moment probably doesn't allow us to do it. Ooh, I think it's gonna land. Yeah, so the battery basically has run out on it. So I'm just gonna turn off the recording there. Right. Yeah, the balancing of the control's not that great. Another thing to say is that when I looked into getting one of these, you basically need to go for a GameSir. I think where does it say on the back? I think it's a T1D. So a GameSir T1D. I'll check that out, and I'll put it in the description anyway. But that's got a nice little holder for your phone. It's Bluetooth, so it connects to like Android or iOS, and it works with the Tello app. So that's quite important. I picked up a sort of case for it as well, which is sort of like a hard shell type sort of case. It's quite basic, but it does the job. The Tello fits in it quite nicely. So even with the prop guards, easy to close down. You're looking at a decent sort of you're looking at decent setup there. I got some spare propellers with it. I've only got one battery, but I have seen them on Amazon and eBay. You can generally pick them up. I think on Amazon they were about £20, but I expect you can find them cheaper, maybe second hand or possibly like looking around on eBay. eBay tends to be cheaper, doesn't it, than Amazon for some stuff. So yeah, it's a cool little drone. It's not as big as a Mavic Mini. It's very light. I think it's like something around 80 to 90 grams. So it's a very light drone. Yeah, probably could turn it off now. I don't know if I can. Well, yeah. Hang on, don't know what's going on there. Google thinks I'm talking to it, I think. But anyway, basically, I've turned it off because it gets quite warm. But yeah, I think the downsides of it are that it doesn't have the best camera on earth. But it's controllable with your phone. You can get a decent sort of gamepad for it. It's not just, this can be used for like Android tablets. This can be used for all sorts of stuff as well to play games. So it's kind of it's not like a drone controller. The drone controllers generally just work for the specific drone. This could be used to play games on your phone as well. So it's kind of got that useful extra feature as well. So, you know, it's a cool, well-made controller as well. So, you know, I like games controllers. I've used them before for like Android apps and playing games on Android TV boxes like Fire TV. Very good controller. And the drone, yeah, it's just really cool. Just flies around. You know, you can fly upstairs and around the whole house. But yeah, basically you can change the shell as well. So like the top comes off of the drone. Should be careful with that. Make sure I do it right without sort of snapping it. But you can get these. There are a few pounds on eBay for like different ones. I've got the white one. You can get them in various colours. It's not that massively a popular drone at the moment. You know, it's not. You know, they're not massively in stock places, but you can get them sort of second hand on eBay. You can easily pick up propellers for it. It's well supported. I think that's the thing. If you're going to buy a sort of indoor drone that'll stand the test of time, this will be it. You'll be able to find the parts for quite a while. You'll be able to get new propeller blades for it. You'll be able to get new shells. You'll be able to get, you know, new batteries. So stuff like that's important. You know, if you buy one of the Amazon type sort of cheaper drones, they're just gonna, you know, they won't work very well, and two, it will just, once it's out of stock, you'll never hear about them again. They won't carry on making for them. This will kind of have a community that will be supporting it for quite a while. Even if Ryze, who makes it, I don't know if they're a subsidiary of DJI or if they're just in partnership with DJI, but basically it's got DJI involved. Basically, the support for this will continue for quite a while, I think, and you'll be able to get the parts and you'll be able to, you know, I mean, this is like, I think 2017, 2018 this came out, and, you know, it's still sort of going, so, you know, which is why I was able to pick one up and able to get the controller working with it. Apps are available, that kind of thing. You know, it's not something that just has, you know, kind of got forgotten about and not looked after. So it's quite important, I think, basically to get you know, something that will stand the test of time and is a really good drone. As you can see, flew around, no problem in here. We flew around and we basically, you know, we only hit a few things and doesn't do much damage or any damage if it hits stuff. So, but we flew around, we had no problems. It's a cool little drone for playing around in the house. So if you're locked down or if you're bored, it's a great drone to go for. So, you know, it's well worth going for. So hope that was useful to you. Thanks very much for watching again. If you like these sort of videos, please subscribe. If you could share the video, that'd be great. If you click like, that'd be brilliant because it helps the channel out if you click like. But thanks very much for watching. You've been great as always. We'll see you again in the next one. Thanks very much.